Psalm 63. When the soul thirsts and heaven answers. There are moments in life when you don't want answers. You just want present. When the explanations no longer satisfy, when the verses you used to quote feel far away, and all that's left is a quiet ache deep inside your chest that whispers, God, I miss you. And it's in that raw place where Psalm 63 begins, not as theology, not as religion, but as a cry, honest, holy, and human, and spiritually. He was running for his life, hiding in the wilderness, betrayed by his own son, stripped of status, home, certainty, and yet what poured from his mouth wasn't bitterness, it was hunger for God. David didn't write this psalm from a temple, he wrote it from a desert, literally, and right there is the most powerful kind of faith, not the faith that comes when everything feels secure, but the kind that holds on to God when there is nothing left to hold but dust and desperation, when water is rare, when the sun is merciless and the nights are long. He's not using poetic metaphor. He's describing his real condition and comparing it to his soul. When even your tears burn because they come from somewhere so deep it hurts to open it. That S where David is, and he doesn't hide it. Oh God, you are my God. Earnestly I seek you, he writes. Beheld your power and glory. And sometimes, when the present feels barren, it's the past encounters that keep us alive. That whisper, you've known him before, and you will again. This is not a psalm of complaint. It's a declaration. It's a man saying, even if I've lost the throne, the people, the comfort, I have not lost my pursuit, but encountered him. You can't forget. You might wander, you might fall, but your soul never lets go of what it has truly tasted. And maybe that's what real worship sounds like. Not perfect songs in perfect places, but broken voices in broken seasons still saying, you are my God. My soul thirsts for you, David continues. And those words hit different when your lips are cracked. It's God. Even if you don't, I'm not letting go of you. And that's what separates seekers from consumers. Have you ever felt that? That internal drought when your heart feels parched, your prayers feel dry. No promise of return, yet his commitment to praise isn't based on outcomes. It's based on relationship. He says, my flesh faints for you. And this is where the psalm shifts from spiritual longing to physical collapse. Because sometimes the absence of God isn't just an emotional ache. It's exhaustion, it's sleepless nights, it's panic attacks, it's lying in bed with your hand on your chest, praying your heart doesn't stop. But consistent hearts, not flawless performance, but persistent faith that shows up even when your hands tremble and your voice cracks. But that's how real God's presence is. It satisfies in ways no meal ever could. It fills the hollow places, it brings strength to places that were collapsing. But David doesn't stop there. He remembers, and memory is often the spark of revival. I have seen you in the sanctuary, he says. Because when you've really experienced God, not just heard about him, not just read him in books, but because our pain makes us desperate enough to notice the wings that were always there. David goes on, because your steadfast love is better than life. My lips will praise you. And right there we see the core of his theology. Not doctrine, not rules, but love. Steadfast love. Love that doesn't leave in the desert. Love that holds steady when everything else unravels. Your right hand upholds me. And that's the paradox of faith. You cling, but it's God who holds. You reach, but it's his strength that sustains. You whisper, but his voice thunders over your life. And it's not about triumph over people. It's about trust in the process. It's about letting God be the one who this isn't about getting back to a palace. It's about getting back to presence, because real worship isn't God, fix my life. But that even there, especially there, God meets you with water, with wings, with presence. So David says, I will bless you as long as I live. And remember, he's saying this with no guarantee he'll survive the wilderness, and no thirst is ignored by the one who created rivers and wastelands. You are my God, and I still seek you, because that cry doesn't disappear into the air. It cuts through the heavens. This is the kind of worship that shakes heaven. Not perfect voices, your whisper, your reaching out for the wings that have always been over you. David adds, my soul will be satisfied as with fat and rich food, which might sound strange in the middle of a fast in a desert. And if you feel empty, that's the exact space God fills best. He doesn't rush you, he meets you. He then says, when I remember you upon my bed, and meditate on you in the watches of the night. And if you've ever been kept awake by fear, grief, regret. You know what that feels like. But David uses that insomnia not for anxiety, but for adoration. But honestly, because even in your clinging, it's his hand that's still holding you. He flips the night watch from torment to temple, and this is a spiritual key. To take the time the enemy meant for dread and turn it into communion. To let the silence of the night become the space where you breathe the name of God with nothing to prove. As a statement that even in this desert, your soul knows where to look. For you have been my help, he says, and in the shadow of your wings I will sing for joy. And that image, wings, it speaks of protection, newness, softness, a God who doesn't just rule from far off, but covers us like a mother bird covers her vulnerable young. There is a tenderness in God that only appears in suffering, and that's not because he changes. Then David says something even deeper. My soul clings to you. The psalm ends with a contrast. Those who seek to destroy my life will go down, but the king will rejoice in God. David doesn't demand revenge. He declares confidence. Confidence that no wilderness is forever, no desert is wasted. And that is the message of Psalm 63. Not that you will never be in a desert, so if you're dry, tired, heart-thirsty, don't be ashamed. Be honest. Lift up your cracked voice and say, God, you were made for more than survival. You were made for intimacy, for communion, for a presence that satisfies more than answers ever could. And if you've lost everything but your hunger for God, then you haven't lost the most important thing. So tonight, or this morning, or in whatever hour you hear this, let Psalm 63 be more than a song. Let it be your surrender. And if you feel far, you're not alone. So breathe, slowly, say his name, remember his name, and let your soul cling, not perfectly. And if you've felt lost lately, type I thirst for God in the comments, not just as a phrase, but as a confession, as a return, because he's not just near to the holy, he's near to the hungry, to the heartbroken, to the ones who've been quiet for too long but still believe there is something more. This is your reminder. God hasn't left you. The dry places haven't disqualified you. The longing in your chest is proof that you're still connected, still alive, still his.